Hello everyone and good afternoon. This is Do Space Omaha featuring more cool stuff from after school program here. If you have any questions, you can definitely chat, or if you just want to hang out, talk about, other things, you can write in chat. Otherwise, this is the first part of a four-parter series we do Design in Tinkercad. Again, if you're just joining us, you can, chat with us or follow along, whatever you like. Otherwise, yeah, I'm just gonna start designing some stuff in Tinkercad and talk about like what can we make in Tinkercad and all the cool stuff we can do. So, if this is you've never heard Tinkercad before, you can create an account by clicking on Join Now. All the way at the top. It is blocked a little bit by our banner, but it's all the way at the top. Just click Join Now. You can create a personal account, or if you are a part of class, you can like choose either one of these buttons. But I already have an account, so I'm just gonna go ahead and click Sign In. Oh, I already have an account. Let me go back here. Sign in, and I'm just gonna sign with Google. It takes me in right away. Okay, so this part one of our part four, we are going to learn a little bit how to use Tinkercad. If you already know how to use Tinkercad, go ahead and create some cool stuff right now. But my goal is to teach you guys design Tinkercad so you can like 3D print your own inventions. Like here at DSpace we have like a few 3D print, like we have a bunch of 3D prints, 3D printers here you can use. You can just go to our website and check them out. So here's one of the little 3D prints we have. It's got like some weird like textures on it. It's kind of bumpy. It's basically a vase. And then we have like this astronaut here. It's just a nice decorative astronaut printed on one of our 3D printers. And then here's a tool. I was looking at our pile of 3D prints, like it was right next to like our headphones holder, and I'm like, this is one odd looking headphones holder. I'm like, it can't be. I was thinking maybe it was a tablet holder or something, but probably it is a weird headphones holder. But yeah, you can like start making your own custom stuff in Tinkercad. So, and here's like a keychain right here. We're going to be making a keychain in the end as soon as it loads. There it is. It's right there. I couldn't find a physical version of this, but it works just fine. It's pretty cool. So hopefully you guys have signed in by now. I'm going to go ahead and now get started with designing. So I'm going to go ahead, create new design. Gives me this space right here. I highly recommend using a mouse with 3D design if you can't. It's a little bit difficult, but still possible to make 3D designs in Tinkercad. But the reason why is I'm going to start teaching on navigation in here. So if I hold my right click down, I can rotate this little plane here all around. If I hold my middle mouse button down, I can like shift my plane left and right. And then if I scroll in and scroll out, lets me zoom in. And then left click lets me select objects in the space. So they just puts cube in here, lets me like select things with left click. Scroll in, scroll out to zoom in and out. Right click to rotate around. Middle click lets me like pan it around here. So that's the reason why I highly recommend a mouse in here, because it makes things easier. But if you're like on a touch screen, or just a tablet doesn't have a keyboard, or doesn't let you use a mouse, or maybe you're on a laptop and you just don't have a mouse and just have that trackpad, there's this cube on the upper left over here. It like has this thing called top front on it, gives you the different views. If I left click on it, rotate it around, it rotates my space in here too. If I click on top, it gives me the top view. And I can click on these arrows on the sides. It gives me straight on view. I can also like get different angles by clicking like on the different edges, highlighting them. So you can use this too if you don't have like a mouse available here. So there we go, we learn how to navigate. Oh yeah, I forgot. If you don't have a mouse, you want to zoom in and zoom out, you can always do Control Command plus, Control or Command minus. You can also just click on this plus and minus on the left side here. So I'm zooming in, zooming out in here. This button above the zoom is like a square. Lets you fit whatever you have in view. Home just takes you to home view in here. And this is called perspective and orthographic view. It just makes things look flatter. Yeah, that's about it for navigation. Now, if you want to rename your creation, you can just go all the way to the top on the upper left, and I can just name this here keychain. And the reason why I'm renaming it is because when I download it, it's going to give like that random name, and I have it on my computer, and I'm like, what is this random nonsense right here? And I don't remember what it is. It's because I didn't rename it. So I like to be very specific of what I'm naming things here. If you make a mistake, I'm just going to move this over this way. And I'm like, I don't want this to be here. There's like on the top bar, there's like an arrow pointing back for undo. And then forward arrow is redo. Next to that is a trash can. And then next to that is the duplicate and repeat. So it lets me duplicate things. And then there's copy and paste right next to that. You can also use your computer command keys if you know them. You know, like Control C for copy, Control V for paste, or Command C for copy through on a Mac and such. So those do work in here too. So let's get started making our keychain here. I'm going to go ahead and grab a cube on this right side right here. There is different objects that you can just grab and drag in and modify. If I click on Tinkercad Basic Shapes, I get like all these like other options in here. And I can just choose all, and it gives me all different kinds of things. It gives me countries in here, or states. I'm going to mute myself real quick. I had a sneeze, sorry about that. But yeah, there's like all these different things. Now, before I add a shape in here, if you have a shape in here, you can just click on it, click the trash can or delete key. I want to change the size of this blue grid here. Now, this grid right here gives us like a thing to measure against. Right now, each of these big squares is 1 millimeter. If you look at the bottom right, down here, there's a thing that says Edit Grid. So if I click Edit Grid, it's in millimeters. I'm going to switch this to inches because I want to design this keychain for me to 3D print later. I'm just going to do a 5 by 5 space. There we go. Which would be 5 inches by 5 inches. And if I click Update Grid, it like changes the space size. So this big square right here, the darker blue outline is an inch. And these little squares here are, I believe, is 1/10 of an inch. I have to like slowly count it. I'm like, what was it again? Maybe 1/8. But yeah, there we go. We got a grid in here. So after I finish my grid in here, I'm going to bring my cube in. If you have any questions or need me to repeat anything, I can do that if you want me to. Otherwise, yeah, I'll just continue on here. Okay, so I'm just going to grab any cube, a box. Don't grab these upper two ones. I'll explain what these are soon, but don't use these two. Just use this box right here. Drag it in. And it automatically sizes it to 1 inch. And if I left click and drag it around, I can move it. So in design spaces, there's 3 ways to like manipulate your cube. There's translate or position, which is me moving this around. Rotate, which is me turning it. And then scale, which is changing the size. So we just went over position here where I can move things around just by left clicking, holding it around. Then when we move it up and down, there's this like little cone right on top of our cube here, which lets me bring it up and down and such. I'm gonna have this rest on the plane here because if I have it above and I started to 3D print it, my 3D printer is going to try to 3D print in the air, and that's not going to work out well. So I'm going to keep it on the plane. Luckily with our 3D printers, it like auto sets everything to the plate, so we're good there. And what am I going to do here? So I did position, which is moving things around, about. I'm going to show rotate next. So rotate is these little arrows that are like half circles. If you like rotate your view around, you'll see the little rotate tools. So you can like hold left click down and just drag your mouse or trackpad or finger if you're using a touchpad, like an iPad or a tablet of some sort. But yeah, I can just like rotate this around how I want it. We're not going to really do much rotation for our keychain here, but I'm showing you guys how you can rotate things. Okay, and then after rotating here, we could also like scale, change the scale, change the size. So there's these little boxes at the corner of our cubes, where if I left click on them, I can drag it out and drag it in to change the size. You can also see measurements on the size of the cube. As I drag this out, the measurement gets bigger, so it's 2 inches by 1 5/8 right now. If I drag it this way, it makes it smaller. So this lets us size it however we want. Yeah. And if I rotate this way and grab this cube up here, I change the size that way. I can also just change one side by clicking this little square in between the white squares with the black outline if I want to like squish it and just change it one size. Yeah, there we go. So another way to change the size here is if you look at this menu right here under shape, there's radius, steps, length, width, height. That lets us change all the sides if we just want to do it through here. Like I can just turn this around and change the size instead of, going through the view in here. And I set that to 1, hit enter. It looks like, yeah, if you change the size in here, it isn't updated in here. So if you want to like increase the size evenly when it's like an odd size, you can just do it through here. Steps relates to the radius. So if I increase radius right here, it makes it rounded. Steps makes it smoother. I'm going to zoom in the corner right here. Okay, there it is. No, I'm going to go with this corner. That's easy to see. So it's rounded out right now. And depending how many steps I added, the smoother it is. See, if I just did 2, it's got like corners in it, but if I bring it all the way up, it's smoother. But I'm not going to mess with radius. I'm going to go ahead and delete this cube because I want to start with a different cube so I can size things. So this is going to be the base of my keychain. First thing I want to do is flatten this. I'm going to bring this down to maybe 1/8 of an inch. Maybe higher? Nope, that's not the one. I feel like that's a little tall. Right now it snaps to 1/8 inch. If you look at the bottom right here, it says 1/8 of an inch. If I click on that and change it to 1/16 of the inch, it makes me move it to like 1/16. It's 1/8, 1/16. There we go. And then I'm going to bring this all the way side here. I'm going to make it 2 inches long. No, 2.5. So I'm going to bring it up until it says 2.5. That's 5/8. There you go, 2.5. And I'm going to keep it an inch this way. So I have a base now. I can just drag it around, but I like how this, is pretty good. I'm okay with this. Next thing I'm gonna do is gonna grab a cylinder. You might be thinking, why don't you just use the torus or the tube down here? That would be better, but I want to show another trick by bringing in the cylinder. So I'm just dragging it in. And the cylinder has different properties right over here. First, this is going to be like the little keychain hole for the keychain to go through the hole to our tag. So I'm just going to make this flat, about 1/16, the same height as my base right here. And I'm going to bring it in, make it smaller, and put it right about right here. I want to make sure it's centered. It looks like it is centered on this line right here. And you can always combine shapes by just putting them together like this. Now I want to keep this kind of large so we can get our keychain through it. I think 1/2 by 1/2 is fine. Okay, so I want to like put a hole right in this. And I'm going to start thinking, how do we do that? Do we just delete a few things in here? Maybe. Or I can just duplicate this, and I'm going to duplicate it by clicking the duplicate button on the top. Drag it out a little bit. And there's this thing right here on our like little menu right here. It says hole. That's what these little gray boxes here are, is to make a hole. I bring this in and place it. This object over here is still a hole with a W, W-H-O-L. It's still complete, but so it doesn't do anything yet. But first I'm gonna make this a little bit smaller. So we'll punch a hole through here. It's basically taking another shape and punching a hole through it. Okay, so to make it punch a hole through another object is simply, if you go follow my cursor, go all the way up to the top on the right, there's this thing called a group right here, and this next to it is ungroup. Next to it is a line, next to it is mirror. If you want to flip objects over, I'm gonna click on group here. And when I click group, it punches a hole through this. If I don't like that, how it looks, I can just click ungroup at the top rightish area, and then I can adjust. Ungroup it. There you go. And that's the right reason why we're doing this manually instead of just grabbing the tube over here, is so we can punch a hole through this right in here. I'm going to grab another cube. This is a demonstration. You don't have to replicate and follow me on this, but I'm showing how I can like position things, rotate it to like make interesting shapes by cutting things out. So I got those two, and I group it, and I got like this little weird hole coming through this. So in Tinkercad, that was how you create your objects, is basically taking what you have, placing them together, cutting holes through things, is like how you make cool stuff in here. It's not like other 3D programs where you can like take a corner and just pull it out and put it in, and then extrude, pull a face out and stuff, and make really like more complex shapes. You can't really do that in Tinkercad. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's okay. Maybe in the future, after you've like learned a lot about Tinkercad, you can try Blender and learn about all the complex 3D modeling stuff. Okay, so got my red tag here. I want to put my name on it. So I'm just going to scroll down here under basic shapes to text. Just going to click on that, drag it in, and I have text right here. I'm actually going to change its color so I can see it against the red. Whatever color you have set in Tinkercad, it's not going to make any difference to whether you 3D print it or not, because like we're not telling the computer to die and change the color of our plastic material. It's not like a lot of computer machines are not really that smart yet. I think I don't really know if anyone has done it yet, except for like the 3D printers that are like They use a different material. It's not plastic, but like it paints it with spray paint in there. We don't have those 3D printers in here. To change colors in real life, we have to change color based on the plastic insert. So I'm just using colors in here to help me organize different shapes. So I'm just gonna bring this down. My light's about to turn off here. And I'm just placing it, yeah, placing this on top, right here. And I'm gonna flatten it. And I'm gonna try to get this centered in here. There we go. And I want it to pop up a little bit. And I don't like this font in here, so I'm gonna change the font. You can do that by changing this font right here, multi-language. The click on that gives me sans, sans motto, serif. Just gonna have sans motto here, so it's a little bit spread out. I'm gonna stretch it a little bit. I'm gonna put this, I'm gonna put it right here. I'm gonna leave a little space right here. You can stretch it out all you want, but I'm gonna teach you guys another thing by leaving a space right here. And I can make it smoother by upping the bevel in segments. By doing that, you can see like it smooths it a little bit. I'm just gonna have it on 2. There we go. So stretched out, and I'm gonna change the text. This is how you change text. This is text right next to it. I'm gonna name it after myself in caps. There we go. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. I'm trying to move this up a little bit. Still not centered. I'm gonna click on the top view right here, so I have it straight on view. I'm gonna change my snap to 132 so I can get a smoother change. There we go. And then I don't know, like I like how it kind of looks, but this little square platform right here is kind of boring. I'm gonna move my name out, and I'm gonna make it like an indent in here. So I'm just gonna move that out, and I'm gonna duplicate this right here. Well, first I'm gonna add a radius to this, so it's like a little bit rounder. Yeah, it's got a little roundness right there, and not that much in. And now I'm going to duplicate it, bring it up, and make it a hole. I'm just kind of shrinking it. And I'm just making like a little indent. Is what I'm doing here. Okay, and I'm going to bring it down a little bit. Oops, I'm going to click this little arrow right here. There we go. And then I'm going to group them by clicking this button up top right here. And there we go, we got like a little indent in there now. And I'm going to make this a little flatter. So it fits right in, and it's a little too short. I guess it goes by the height right there. Yeah, I'll be fine with that. I was trying to leave space right here to draw something, but I could just click on this and extend it out a little bit because I want a little bit more room. Hey, here we go. So you learned how to rotate things, create objects, edit them, place objects, all that stuff. I'm going to now show this little thing called Scribble. On the right side right here, there's a scribble. If I drag it in, I can like draw like this really ugly flower in here. If I look right here, it creates that shape. So I left that extra space in here so I could like create a little custom drawing. So I'm just gonna erase this here. There we go. So at the bottom right here is a pencil, eraser, and next to it there's a draw shape option where I can like drag a click around, rotate it out. I can also erase by a shape. That's what I did earlier to show that. So I'm just gonna do a sideways smiley face here. And I'm gonna undo that. There's also the undo and redo button down here. And it's also clear that I could have clicked. I'm gonna do like a little V. Nope. It's just kind of funny to see that right there. I'm trying to like give it corners. Nope. I'll just do the standard smiley. There you go. And once you're done making your shape in here, you can go ahead and click done on the bottom right. And this is way too tall. So I can just bring it down. You notice like in our little menu over here, there's not as many options. You can't make it smoother or anything. You just have to edit the scribble. It does not look like a smiley face at all. I'm just gonna edit the scribble. Clear. I'm just gonna make a flower instead. There we go. And done. Here we go, I got a flower. And there we go. We got our keychain here. Next thing I'm going to do is select all of them and group it so it's all one thing. This is how it's going to look when it's 3D printed. It'll change it to one color. I'm going to ungroup it real quick because I don't like how like the name isn't sticking out a little bit at the bottom here. So I'm going to stretch it out. It's about right there. Select it all. Group at the top bar right here. And that's how it's going to look when it's 3D printed. Okay, so to get this ready for it to be 3D printed, I'm going to select this right here. If you look at the top over here, there's import, export, and send to. Send to is like if you're sharing like an email of it to someone else. Import is when you take like a 3D model you found online, import it here for you to edit. Export is taking this file out so it can be 3D printed. So I'm going to click export. For our 3D printers here, we need to choose STL. Other 3D printers might ask you for OBJ or GLB over here. So you can just choose everything. And in here it says include everything designed or the selected shape. Maybe, you know, if you can do everything designed, skip everything, but what if you have like extra shapes off to the side somewhere? You don't want that included, so you can choose selected shape. That's why I grouped it, so it's all one shape in here. And you can save this for like laser cutting. I've never tried it with Tinkercad. I don't know how that go. So I'm gonna go ahead, click on STL, next exporting. There's my file, keychain.stl. There we go. So that's actually it for part one. It's just showing you guys how to make stuff in Tinkercad. Next week, part two is going to teach the basics of design, where we learn how to carry an idea all the way to a prototype project example. And we're going to use that principle towards Tinkercad and possibly, yeah, you know, make a cool like measuring cup invention, or maybe like some type of tool we can use in real life, like 3D printed. One more thing I want to show you here is that there's a little pickaxe right here. Like, click on that. It turns it into like a Minecraft simulator thing. I haven't really used this much. I think people use this for planning or importing models. Um, but it's just kind of a cool thing in here. You can have ground, and it shows you the scale of how big you have to make that thing. So you can do some like Minecraft planning in here if you wanted to. And then next to that symbol, there's like a Lego symbol. It like lets you try to figure things out, but I think this is in beta because it's not really showing my object in here. I'm going back in here. Yeah, there we go. That is it for today. Thank you very much for joining. And one asks, do you know how to make a temperature sensor? No. I mean, okay. I'll actually go into the little things of that. I mean, I can look it up and figure it out. But the fun thing about Tinkercad is that you can bring in circuits and assemblies. That's assemblies. Components in here. So you can plan out like your invention. You can like use this with Arduino. Looks like some people, they added like a microbit and Raspberry Pi in here. So like you can try like these sample things in here to try to make a sensor in here. For a temperature sensor, you'll have to buy, I'm just gonna look up Arduino parts. It's like you don't have to look up Arduino specifically, but if you look up like circuit parts and you connect it to Arduino, you can totally do that. But to make a temperature sensor, I can just, type temperature. And I can get different sensors, like humidity sensor, there's a panel temperature meter, like this right here. Adafruit's kind of expensive. I would just go to Amazon. Go to Amazon right now. I just look up Arduino kits because it just comes with a bunch of stuff together. If I knew the exact name, I'll just look up the exact name of the component. But in here, there's like all these different pieces you can like bring in together. So if you want to like make a temperature sensor, you think about like all the different things. Like you'll need a sensor, of course, to measure the temperature. You'll need like an LED pad, which is one right here. A lot of connectors and power. Bring them together, and a little Arduino thing to like give it the programming so you can tell it measure this thing, or maybe you can add a button to give it complexity. And then maybe in Tinkercad you can make a case for your temperature sensor and design all these things to go inside of it to make that sensor and make it all really cool all together. So you can use Tinkercad not just for 3D design but also for circuit design too. Yeah. But awesome question. Otherwise, yeah, that's it for today. Have a good afternoon. At 5 o'clock, we'll start this again. It'll be the exact same thing, but a little bit more simplified for younger kids. Have a good afternoon, everyone. Bye-bye.